culture is actually pretty good.
We've got like egg in there.
Did you enjoy those good Thursday night football games over the past few weeks? Tonight we get nothing. In a rematch of the two greatest games outside of New England, we get the sloppiest affair this side of Lewinsky. I wish I was joking about that. For an undefeated team, the Patriots looked pretty flat. The Giants were in the game for a while, so I don't know how much of it was on a bad offense or a good defense. Either way, Daniel Jones had his first true rookie game. It happens. It's when a QB makes awful reads and forces passes, the inevitable growing pains. The shame of it is the G-Man had a chance to win, but couldn't capitalize due to a comedy of errors. The score is a lot more lopsided than the game truly was. The Patriots go to 6-0, but a pretty weak one. Before I go on, once again, I said they were done last year and they won a Super Bowl. Forgive me if I require concrete evidence before I call them dead. Yes, another London game. The NFL wants a showcase of the best and brightest that the league has to offer. I mean, there is a former first overall pick leading the way. He felt like offering an international flair to his turnovers. Marketing his pastries to a new clientele, I love his business savvy. It'll work really well if he's out of a job after this season. His linemen can be his employees if that happens. Even then, he had a special day. 5 interceptions and 2 fumbles, 1 recovered by the defense. Making up for lost time, I see. Jameis, if you could only be like Kyle Allen. Him and his interception-free season have given the Panthers life. Now a QB controversy is afoot. Allen is good, but do they go back to Super Cam when he's healthy? Considering the panic this team had a month ago, this is a good problem to have. You honestly believe this kind of game can be contained within the confines of Sportsball? You would be wrong. Such a spectacle deserves its own video. This kind of spectacle, however, does not. The Bengals continue their inadvertent pursuit of Tua with a rather convincing loss against the Crabs of Chesapeake Bay. They had a good shot of winning the game for about 9 seconds. Then Lamar Jackson and his feet ended up happening. Not much you can do there. Even if the officials tried their hardest to bring you back into the game, you don't have the talent to do it. You know your true destiny, Bengals. Another Super Tank Bowl with the low fins. Do not resist. Embrace it. I see the Eagles have learned nothing about not talking shit about their opponent before the game. It's one thing when shit take specialists like myself say Cousins sucks, but when an athlete does it, it fuels their fire. The result is a spiral of karma delivered for 4 touchdowns against your battered defense. You were even a team over 500. What a goddamn shame. I would feel more embarrassed for that coach you have who took the wrong lessons from the Philly special and decided to do, well, that before halftime. Is there any chance we can save coaches from themselves? I think it would benefit quite a few franchises this year. Regardless of this loss, the Eagles are still in the division hunt, but that's more in spite of themselves instead of because of it. That shit talker, by the way, turns out he was the weakest link on the team and got cut. Woof. It appears nothing has gone right for the Jaguars today. First, the Pope blesses the wrong team in the quest for victory, and then the offense suffered the might of the New Orleans Inquisition. If only you got the Saints defense that looked awful the first few weeks instead of the reformed version that is guided by the spirit of Martin Luther. The only penance will be in field goals, and that will not be enough from the fate of eternal damnation. There is no offering a rosary to save Jacksonville from this fate, for they are heathens, and they must face the wrath of the Almighty God himself. He is a Saints fan, because he's an asshole. A hard loss despite the defensive effort. Before you ask, no, Jalen Ramsey still isn't playing. Something about a rock in a hard place. The Browns frustrate me as a football fan in general. It has nothing to do with narratives, but the fact that their greatest enemy is themselves. I see the talent here. There is upside, but they never come close to realizing it. It's the same issues I've been harping on for weeks. A total lack of discipline and structure. Even with taking a commanding lead in the second quarter, they do nothing to push the envelope. They allow Seattle to come back into the game and dictate how play will go. The fourth quarter itself was a factory of sadness. The Browns are charging towards victory but stall at the goal line. They have a surefire touchdown but choose to challenge the previous play because Kitchen's logic. They fail, and fail at their next attempt at breaking the play. This challenge would come back to haunt them as there would be a rather questionable catch sealing the game. But wouldn't you know, the Browns have no timeouts and they can't challenge the ruling on the field. Oops. The 12 snatched the win from your cold dead hands when they shouldn't have. I just want you to imagine this team with a real coach instead of a dude completely over his head. Looks good, huh? Over the past few weeks, we have discovered the glaring flaws of the Chiefs franchise on the field. Like the past several years, that is most of the team defense. It doesn't matter how potent the offense can be, especially with the return of a certain Tyreek Hill. If the defense still has trouble stopping talented players, they will be doomed come playoff time. It was a situation where the Chiefs had command of the game, but costly mistakes allowed the Texans to bring themselves back to life. Oh yes, we even get ref ball as they picked up a flag for blatant pass interference on an interception. You can't give that glimmer of hope to a guy like Deshaun Watson. Even if Will Fuller couldn't catch a cold, he will capitalize on it. He was better than Mahomes today, and that's all that mattered. Houston wins a crucial game as Kansas City still has many questions to answer about a side of the ball that has hurt them as of late. Maybe Frank Clark will show up, maybe he won't. All that matters is that Bill O'Brien's job won't be called into question for another few days. Give it until Friday. I hate to rub this loss in your face, but what in the literal hell was that supposed to be? You know that Denver hasn't gained any traction on the season whatsoever, right? Is that why you couldn't do anything on offense? Did you feel pity for Vic Fangio? Has your offensive line taken a vacation? Or was that just Marcus Mariota's final gasp for air before his relevant career dies? The fans' demands were met and the white Marcus Mariota was brought into the game with mixed results. Yes, he managed to move the ball, but with no tangible outcome. I don't envy Tennessee for the situation they're in. Their choices are slamming their head into a wall or slamming their head into a wall. Will you ever not be frustrating to watch? Ever? Even with San Francisco's impressive win against Cleveland last week, there are still those that are unconvinced of the Niners and their might. Who would be a good target? Why not the team who represented the NFC in the Super Bowl last year? In fact, don't just stop there. Completely silence whatever life their offense had whatsoever. The score doesn't say it, but the game was sheer domination. The Rams couldn't do a damn thing against that defense, and there are plenty of turnovers on downs to prove it. It didn't even end there. The grandstands were dominated by those loyal to the Scarlet and Gold. This game was a home game for the Rams, by the way. I thought the Rams were gaining the trust of LA. Or was I wrong like always? At least they aren't the Chargers. I'd be grasping at straws at being the victim of someone else's legit statement win. Does everyone remember the offseason of 2018? Flashback to when we were all foolish enough to believe that Marcus Peters heading west would turn the Rams into a defensive juggernaut. In theory, yes, but then we didn't take into account a few things. Mainly that Marcus Peters would morph into burnt-out leather. Him being beaten on coverages has been a constant in LA, and maybe a different scheme would bring him back to form. You know who needs secondary help? The Ravens. Baltimore takes a gamble on Peters for a relatively low price while the Rams hope for addition by subtraction. This on the same day the Rams placed Aqib Talib on IR. There's gotta be something else here. This is a death wish. Oh yes, Jalen Ramsey. A massive upgrade at a massive cost. 2 first-rounders and a 2021 4th-round pick. The epitome of high-risk, high-reward. Another game-changer for the defense, but will it be enough to turn the tides of their season? Or will the drama consume them whole as well? Shit just got juicy in Ramland. Even against a so-called easy opponent, the Falcons do nothing but frustrate those that feel they are ready to emerge as a contender. No, the problem isn't in their offense for the talent they have on that side. It's in the defensive schematics. Despite being proven repeatedly that it doesn't work in this current era of the NFL, Dan Quinn chooses to focus on a game plan that emphasizes soft zone against a team that thrives on short passes and screens. It's a recipe for disaster wide open by 15 yards. The Cardinals thrive off of such a mismatch. The whole affair turns into a Big 12 matchup. No defense. In this case, it'll come down to whomever makes the last mistake in the game. Despite their defensive deficiencies, the Falcons are coming back with unrelenting fury. Hell, they can even tie it.
Good snap, good hold, and it is no good! Can you believe it?
But then Matt Bryant can't bail them out forever. Great, now they have a scapegoat instead of Dan Quinn admitting that his defensive scheme doesn't work. At least if you get a new kicker, you can get a bulldog. Can we just do what Futurama did and sink this city into the void? There's something to be said about a team that looks past their opponent. The Jets are a terrible team, yes, but they are still a professional football team. All 30 of them are. You take them lightly, they will make you pay. The Jets did this in the first half as the Cowboys had a flat start. Sam Darnold returned to bring New York something besides offensive ineptitude. This is also in part to Dallas choosing to be foolish instead of taking the damn points. You don't try to be bold in the second quarter, it always comes back to haunt you. Ironically, on the next drive. Even then, this is the butt fumble, and they would do everything in their power to deliver the win to your feet. A slow comeback would begin and emerge as a potential tie in the waning moments. Look at all of these penalties on the final drive to push a narrative. It's incredible. A 2-point conversion is all Dallas would need.
You're going to have to throw the ball outside the numbers or something.
Here it goes, pass thrown. There was contact with the quarterback, and it's incomplete.
How about them Cowboys? This is why you take the goddamn points in the second quarter instead of going for it. You never know when they'll come in handy. I laugh in Philadelphia as the New York Football Giants are only a game away from the division lead. what a time. It's always a good day when I don't have to separate these games into a forced soap opera that refuses to die. This game reinforced this. I don't know if it was the ragtag Chargers offensive line or the near monopoly of Steelers fans consuming the soccer stadium whole. It was an intimate experience of black and gold for roughly the entirety of the first half. Strong defensive efforts with a certain duck caller holding his own in the pocket. If there's anything this season has taught us, the lead is far from safe. LA would attempt to come back and make the game their own, but even then it would not be enough. It's been like most weeks in the Chargers season. Try to pull enough and take the win, but not have enough to get it done. Another black eye appears as a 2-4 start holds them back. The Steelers, though, you know what to do with that false hope. Let it consume me whole. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm interested in the result of this game. The Detroit Lions were completely and utterly fucked over. Who else would you guess it's by? It's by the same damn thing that's screwed with them for years now. Zebras. Note that I am in no way a fan of this sad franchise. I get that the Lions blew a 13-0 lead where they had complete control of this game, but seriously? You want me to believe it happened like that? With this conveniently overturned fumble to an incompletion? What is consistency when the same thing happened last week to a different result? This was apparently not pass interference on the Packers, because what's a rule change if you aren't going to enforce it? Oh, Detroit's playing a strong game. Hey, look over there! Ooh, illegal hands to the face on Trey Flowers. That sucks! Look at how close he is to that face. It extends to the shoulder pads now, right? Once again, Lions, you know how this ends. Touchdown, Green Bay. Unfortunately, it appears that Detroit still has the lead. Are those your old manufacturing jobs I see in the distance? No, the only manufacturing is the result of this game. Another hands to the face penalty on Trey Flowers. And his hands weren't anywhere near the face. This gives Green Bay a comfortable grasp on the clock to end the game. Good job, NFL. You succeeded in securing a narrative. Now everyone's going to gawk about Aaron Rodgers and how elite he was with a 10-point handicap. Another great game ruined by heinous ref ball. This league is a goddamn joke. The gods always demand sacrifice. Let us lament those we have lost this week.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
May the fallen be blessed in the football afterlife. Amen.
Last week for Pittsburgh, for the Baltimore Ravens in the Steel City, and here they go trying to make it 2 in a row, and look at the return here. It's going to go all the way. Brandon Wilson, 92 yards to begin it for Cincinnati. Wow.